Go do an insight video. This time's very much around flow. What does this mean? It's like the flow of energy, the flow of light, the flow of as we start to allow the flow of energy, the flow of source energy to come into our lives. As I'm connecting into it, I was just thinking about like Almora and the master of Almora, which is the blue flame that brings communication, understanding, wisdom, healing. But the ray also brings this connection to the flow of the universe, the flow of, and it very much connects to also Archangel Gabriel, which is very much around sort of like the messenger, bringing messages, communication. And this time's very much around that. It's about becoming more into flow, and flow means allowing connecting more into our energy, our light, our energy, so we can start to sort of like connect more to light and energy within our own sort of like energetic bodies and our physical bodies. But how we start to connect into source on a physical level, and this is where we start to look into creation. And creation is very much around sort of connecting into that source energy, and starting to open up our energies. And this is where I was talking about balance over the last few days. Balance is very much around the universe works on giving and receiving, and the universe is very much around that. So you need balancing of like open, like where you're an open channel, so you start to sort of like receive light frequencies and light energies, but you also express them. It has to be in like a natural flow. So the universe works like this. So this is like the everything needs to be in harmony. Everything needs to be in balance. Everything needs to be sort of like in union. And as we start to sort of like connect more into these new frequencies, these vibrations, we need to open up our energy centers and our energy field to start to receive and harmonize with this sort of like concept that like many light workers, many sort of beings that are working on the planet are very good at expressing and giving, but they're not always necessarily opening up their channel to receive the energy. And I feel this is what's going on at the moment with like the new energies that are coming in. We need to open up our whole energy field and our whole energy system to start to receive these new frequencies. And this means sort of like moving away from 3D reality and attachment to materialism in the physical world. But we have to start sort of opening up to our spiritual world and our spiritual dimension of or aspect of self. And this is where the universal law of correspondence comes in, because the universal law of correspondence is about creation. It's about creation in the way that we manifest and we create from our source aspect of being. So what this means is the universal law of correspondence talks about the inner world creates the outer world, but the inner world is where our source energy lives, and it's about sort of connecting into that. So how we do that through creation is what we start to do is like this morning I had an experience of this morning. So I connected into my source energy, and when I was connecting into it, what I felt like is I was connected to a vibration, a frequency of source that vibrated and sort of like vibrated with all things at once in that moment. So like a chair, I could vibrate with that chair as source energy, because that chair was like an expression of source. So what it was saying to me, if I go deeper into the feeling, was everything is created from that center, that source. And what you do is you go into that vibration, you go into that frequency, and what you do is you create a sacred space within yourself. And when you do that, then it aligns your energy and it opens up your energy. But it opens up to start to receive like, and connect and unify again to a higher state of being where your consciousness is expanded, where you connect to source energy in a more spiritual aspect. And all spiritual, the spiritual sort of reality and spiritual aspect is all things are connected and all things are vibrating, but all things are one reality. And this is a universal law of oneness, which is one reality, which is one vibration frequency that's creating and existing and vibrating at once everywhere. So what that means is, so the spirit world and the spiritual realities and the spiritual dimensions are here now, and you're connected to them, because what you are is you're part of this universal law of oneness where all things are interconnected. Source energy is in everything, is in all realities, all collectives. You know, ascended masters are source energy, angels are source energies, collectives are source energies, galactic sort of, if that's where you vibrate, is connected. The universe is all source energy. And what it was saying to me about this experience this morning is it's saying when I was connected into it, when I was in that sacred space, from there I could create and I could vibrate in a way that I could then start to manifest and create things from that place of source energy. And this is where the universal law of correspondence comes in. But then it connects to the universal law of vibration. It connects to the universal law of transmutation and transformation as well. And it also connects to like Saint Germain, Saint Germain is very much around transformation and transmutation. But this connects also to like the ascended master of our Moria, which is the divine will, the divine flow. Once you start to understand that you're vibrating as a source being of energy and light, then you're creating your own reality. So when you start to realize that, then at any stage, at any moment, you can shift and change your reality. As I start to connect into this, I'm now vibrating. As I'm connected into the energy, I feel like I'm vibrating in a way that my center or my source energy from it feels like here, but it's opening up like from my chest, and it's moving out, and it's like this beautiful golden energy. It's like a golden fluid energy. But when I create this space as well, it's a space where there's no limitation. There's no sort of like there's no limitation. There's infinite possibilities, because this is a place of energy. This is an energetic place. And when you connect into source, then you realize that you can start to shift and change your vibration. And when you shift and change your vibration, and you also connect into that sacred space, that sacred source energy, this is where creation begins. Because what you can do from there is you can literally just vibrate in a way. And how it feels to me is when I'm in this space, I can attract what is needed within my own life. But I can also shift and change any experience, any reality, any event at that time. So it comes in. So you might have something happen externally at work or around you that you know, the vibration, the frequency is something that is not really what you want. It's not the experience you want. So it might be something that, you know, somebody said something that affects you or hurts you. But in this space, in this place, my vibration, my frequency, my source energy, I can create and shift my response or my reaction to that. So in that sense, that's a very simple way of explaining what's happening here, because when in that source energy, at any time if you're in it, you can shift and change the reality, and you know, you can make a choice and use your will in a way to shift and change the experience, the event, the experience and the event. So this is how reality works. So this is why it's really, really important that we start to connect into these light frequencies and this source energy, because when you're vibrating like that, whatever's happening outside of you, you know, you can shift and change it just by being in that source space, that sacred space. And this is what this time's about. But it doesn't just happen on a singular experience, it happens on a collective experience as well. You can sit in that energy and you can vibrate in it, and then what you can start to do is you can shift and change the reality of the planet as well, because you can connect into that. Daily you can be sending out higher vibrations, higher frequencies to align your own life, to shift and change your reality so it's a more spiritual reality. I feel like in this moment when I connect into it, I'm walking as light and energy, and that light and energy is vibrating on a higher frequency than the physical dense matter that we call the world and the physical reality. So I know that I've got a vibration, a frequency that's working in me, in my own energetic system, that I can align with, I can connect with, and that vibration is sort of like is creating, um, you know, and aligning with intuition and understanding in a way that my consciousness can shift beyond these physical sort of experiences and physical realities, and then that starts to show me that I'm the creator of my own reality, that I'm a co-creator within my own life and in my own reality. The more I connect into this, and the more that I connect into this source energy and this source frequency, the more I'm less touched by physical events and physical reality, because I start to realize that I can move past that and I can dissolve it. I've been talking about this for many months, but it's hard to really put into words what I'm trying to express in a physical way, because it's not a physical way thing, it's a spiritual thing, and the spirit dimensions and realities work very differently to the physical reality we know. There's no time, there's no space, there's no distance. So as I start to feel this flow, I start to feel like an opening, but I also feel like my physical reality it becomes this fluid thing. And what I mean by that again is like I'm vibrating on a different frequency to the physical reality. And what I feel in my core, my source, and my center is when I vibrate like that, in that frequency, I can then send out that energy, that frequency, um, that I want in my own reality to start to shift and change, but also to align the outer reality with my own inner frequency, my own inner vibration. And I'm doing that. And when I do that, then I start to then manifest and create. But my reality then becomes a reflection of my own inner vibration, my own inner source energy. And when I connect into that, I feel like there's no boundaries. There's no limitations, and all I need to do is sit in that energy. And the more I sit in that energy, so this is the practice for me, is like to keep going in that vibration and vibrate on that level, that the outer reality then becomes a canvas for me to create or to shift and manifest things that are not in harmony in my life, that aren't in alignment with my life, that aren't in alignment with my spiritual sort of reality and my spiritual sense of self, which is beyond the external. And I feel this is what the masters did. The masters were very much connected in that way. When they were connecting to their source energy, they knew that this source energy was a different vibration to the outer world, the physical world. And when you start to shift and change in that way, you start to realize you can shift and change your reality and create the outcomes and the experiences that you feel align you and keep you in harmony and balance, but don't sort of like just don't allow the outer world to distract you. And this is what infinite teachers have done for thousands of years with meditation, and they've done it with all the different sort of like things they do, meditation, yoga, things like that. But we've now got this ability where we're starting to become co-creators of our own reality, and all we have to do is start getting into that vibration. So the practice is to feel that vibration, feel that energy, and start to align with it and connect with it, and then shift and change your reality and align it with what you feel. You feel that reality should look like, that reality should be, that you want to create. And this is what this time's about, and this is where you see like a lot of people are talking about. I've heard somebody talking about like sixth dimension reality, where they're talking about creation, and they're talking about like sovereign self, which is like, what that means is like when you start integrating like the spiritual within your physical reality or your human reality, then you start to walk as this light and this energy. And when you walk as this light and energy, then you vibrate in a very different way. And what you start to do then is you vibrate with light and energy from your source. And that's where all reality comes from. That's where all creation comes from. So the external reality then just becomes this place where you can create. It doesn't come from a place that affects you or distracts you. It just becomes a place where you, as long as you're in that light and that energy and you're aligned to it, you can shift and change the reality, and you start to choose how you experience it and what kind of things are part of that. And when you start to do that, then you start to move past that physical reality and start to step into your own power, your own energy, your own source energy, and you start to create from a place of of magic, really, because it becomes magical, because you can shift and change. You can shift and change your reality. And this is what I feel like the message is today, that I really feel like, because I was sitting there and I was like wrestling with this kind of feeling a little bit. I didn't really know how to explain it today, but the more that I'm going through than just sitting in this vibration, because everything is vibration. The whole universe works on vibration, energy, and light. So that's what creation is. It's a vibration, and that's what all energy is, a vibration. So everything that, from a chair to a tree, they've all got a source vibration. And when we start to connect into our own vibrations, then we shift and change reality, because what we're doing is we're bringing more energy and a different kind of energy into our own energetic fields. And through source energy, what we start to do is express light and energy. And when we do that, we start to express a different reality. And this is how we start to shift and change our own reality. But we start on our own individual reality, then we do it on a collective reality. But this is what the whole ascension process is. This is what we're awakening to. This is why we're here. So for me, it's quite an interesting, because now for me, going to work today, going to my reality, I'm going to sit in this source energy, and it's about integrating that. It's about now aligning with that, and becoming more conscious of it. So every day now, it's about, when I feel something's taking me off, or I feel like I'm out of balance, or I'm not grounded with something, then I go into the source energy, and then I shift and change it by sitting in that vibration. And everything comes from there. So don't worry about the external world anymore. Create that connect to that inner source energy, and when you've done that, the external reality will become a reflection of your inner energy, your inner source. And this is why we're awakening to source, to realize this, that we can walk as light and energy, and we don't need to be distracted by anything physical and the physical realities, because the physical reality is really what we're creating, and all we have to do is connect into that source energy to create a new reality, which is what we're here for, is to create a new reality on the planet, but also within ourselves, and awaken to that. Well, that's the insight for today.